Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. It's officially autumn and it's cold outside and it's rainy and there's not much to do. So it's the perfect timing to get bored, but we don't want to be bored. We want to be creative as always. So of course I gotta make another DIY video. So we're gonna do some autumn and Halloween DIYs today. The first DIY that we're gonna make is this pumpkin candle, and you need air dry clay for this and also some paint. And we're gonna start by rolling the air dry clay into a ball. And then once it's round, we're gonna press it down a little bit and take a tea light and press it on the clay. Then I used this tool for wood carving, but you could also just use a knife or spoon so we can carve out the place for the tea light. Then I smoothed it out with some water and put the tea light in. And then I used another tool to create these lines on the outside of the clay to form the pumpkin, and then I used water again to smooth it out. And once you're done with that, you have to let it dry for a couple of hours, and I let mine dry overnight. And once it's fully dry, you can start painting it. And the next day there were a few cracks in my clay, but it wasn't that bad, so I just continued with painting, and then I let it dry again and I was done. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I had a massive fairy era, and I saw this little desk at the DIY shop and I knew I had to make something out of it. So I went outside and collected some things like leaves or some pine cones or dried berries, and then I painted the desk. And when it was dry, I started setting up the table like a dinner table, and I used the upper part of an acorn to make it look like plates, and then just added whatever came to my mind. And I used hot glue to make everything stay on the table. And honestly, this was so fun to make. This was probably one of my favorite things, even though it's not really useful, but it's still so fun, and it was making my inner child really happy because I used to do this all the time when I was younger. And I also always loved doing miniature things, so this was perfect. For this ghost lamp, you need some aluminum foil and some paper towels and some glue. And at first you're gonna take a little bit of the aluminum foil and roll it into a ball and then put it on a small glass. Then you're gonna put some water into a bowl and mix it with glue. Now this next part is gonna get a little bit messy, so make sure to do it on a surface that can get dirty. But we're gonna take the paper towels and put it in the water glue mix, and then we're gonna put it on top of our aluminum ball. And like that, we're gonna create a ghost shape. And then you're gonna put several layers of the paper tissue on top of each other until you feel like it's enough. And after you're done, you're gonna clean up your space, and then you let all of it dry for at least a day. And once all of the glue and the water in the paper towels has dried, you can take it off the glass, and then you can draw two eyes on a piece of paper with a black pen and then glue them on top of the ghost. Then you're gonna need some fairy lights, and you can take out the aluminum ball and put the fairy lights in instead. And there you have your little ghost lamp. For this DIY you need clay again, and also some leaves. I just went outside and collected a couple of leaves, and then I rolled out my clay. And started pressing down the leaf on the rolled out clay. Then I took away the leaf again, and as you can see, the print of the leaf stayed on the clay. So then I used this knife to cut out the leaf and took away the extra part of the clay. And then I had this beautiful clay leaf, but I wanted it to be in the shape of a bowl. So I took this bowl and some cling foil, and I put the cling foil in the bowl and then the clay leaf on top. And I let it dry like this for a day. When it was dry, I started painting it in autumn colors. And then I couldn't decide if I wanted to use it for jewelry or for a candle, but I ended up with the candle. Here's another DIY that's super easy, and you just need some pumpkins for it. I bought these small ones, but you can also use a big pumpkin. And you're also gonna need some paint, and then you just start painting on your pumpkin, whatever you want to paint on it. I chose to paint some ghosts, and then later I also added some bats. It's a good alternative for when you don't like carving pumpkins, because it can get kind of exhausting or annoying, and it's also a little dangerous with knives. So if you want to do the easier alternative, you can just paint a pumpkin instead of carving it. The last thing is another clay DIY, and it's this ghost candle holder. I started by making a ball and then rolling out the clay until I had this round flat shape and smoothed it out with some water, and then I started shaping two little ghosts. And I used a small knife for this, but you can use any object, but if you use a knife you just gotta be careful that you don't cut yourself. And then for the next part you're gonna need a knife again, and as you can see in the video, I'm using it on the ghost and on the flat circle, so that when I put the ghost on the other part of the clay, it sticks together and doesn't fall apart. Then I took my tea light and then I tried to make it look like a fire pit by using some clay to shape some wood logs, and then we gotta let it dry for a day again. After it's dry, you can start painting it. After it's dry again, you can light up the candle and you're done. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you liked some of the DIYs, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!